Hello, I am student. Now, when I look at this board, I can only imagine it as part of the snake on the Medusa's head. The Medusa's head is this country. You are one of the snakes. Now, in order to fight the snake, we must fight the head. We have to cut off the head to kill the snake. Because here we are battling the snake, but we must kill the head. And I consider you part of the oppression of our people because whose schools are you taking? You are taking our people's schools, and the city of Chicago is becoming part of this institution and this oppression that continues to go down on our people and continues to hurt us and take away our education. Now, these budget cuts that I see, apparently you don't have the money, I don't have the money, so who has the money? This country has the money. These corporations have the money. These CEOs have the money. These banks have the money. And it's not fair. It's not fair. And people keep continuing to cry and yell and tell you that it's not fair, but no one listens. And that's all I want to say. Have a good day.
Hello, I am a student. I stand here today to speak about my concerns. First, it is necessary for me to make something clear. The students of Chicago are and should be the priority. As such, I call upon the board to end the austere measures that affect both the schools throughout the city and every kid under CPS. Now, whether exceptional inside our classrooms or mentors outside of it, the educators of Chicago are the ones that make a difference. The over 1,000 non-teaching positions that were terminated encompass some individuals that I am sure students throughout the city and inside of this room would consider to be educators, not just positions. Our clerks, our counselors, and every other individual that takes part in our schools has an impact. If providing a world-class education is your priority, then protect the educators. Stop investing in projects like Teach for America, which, although not destructive in theory, has the nature to affect our education. Invest $1.6 million in our teachers, not such programs. If my education, again, is truly important, consider my demands. Acknowledge my importance. Look me in the eye and tell me that you are going to fix the education system in Chicago. I am not standing here as a CTU member, nor am I a lobbyist, although I wonder if I should consider becoming that. I am standing here as a student,
Mr. Gomez.
I will finish.
Thank
A future constituent of the city, and hopefully, given the right opportunities and the education that I deserve, one day a teacher for the next generation to come. Thanks for your time
Thank
and
you,
your
Mr.
so-called
Gomez.
concern. So now I ask you, are you listening
Mr.
to me now?
Gomez, thank you. Our next speaker, please.
I am a student. You know me as. I come to you today not to speak about issues that are in your control or about issues that you simply do not have any interest in changing. Instead, I will speak to you about issues that you could choose to change in this exact same meeting. In the past, CPS held their board meetings in the community where parking was readily available. Speakers were chosen Speakers were chosen on a first-come, first-served basis. On top of that, meetings were held in the evening when people were available to come. Not only have the voices of speakers have been reduced, but also the voices of all the members of the public. Not only is there a reduced limit on the amount of people that could stand in solidarity with the speaker, which is 9, and there was 15 previously, but also the opportunity to stand in solidarity with more than one person at a time before getting kicked out. So I ask you, how is what is supposed to be a public forum being held during work and school hours? Are you scared of large crowds? How is it that the last board meeting during the public speaking section where people register online to speak a week in advance, only half of the speakers actually showed up, and they have to miss work or school to actually speak? This is an undemocratic system which you have created, has only proven to students, parents, teachers, and all citizens alike that you are scared of what the public has to say. If that is not the case, humor us and hold your meetings at a reasonable time where the general public can actually attend.
Ms. Fry, excuse me, can you please conclude?
I am.
Thank you.
Then change the speaker selection process to something which can't be infiltrated like this online process. Finally, once you're comfortable with those changes, try leaving your comfy seats for once and actually going into the communities and interacting with us as you say you always do.
Thank you, Ms. Fry.
Until
Our
then,
next
are you
speaker.
listening to us now?
Our next speaker, please.
Hello, I would like to yield my time to Ashan.
No, I'm sorry, ma'am. Can't do that.
He didn't register.
First, I would like to thank you for giving us iPads, but that is still not enough. We have lost over 3,000 teachers. What have you cut in the budget cuts? And first of all, one thing that I don't like about this board is that you only give us 2 minutes to speak, but you give all these corporate businesses like an hour to speak. Secondly, you are slashing our education. You are pulling it down. You are taking our education and our protection away. Let the community talk. Let the students talk. Let the parents talk. Let the teachers talk. Let them control this board. Don't let the bank control this board. I know that you're at a deficit, but was it the really way to close schools? You put all our TIF dollars into DePaul for what? Can you put that back into the schools? You are saying it's all about the kids, but you're not putting it about the kids. I am a student myself, and I am pleading and begging that you help these parents in their low income, help them out and give them what they need. Help them with these schools. Please help them. You need to go to that mayor and tell him to just quit his job. He is tearing down our education. Please tell him he is tearing down our education.
Ashan, excuse me, can you please conclude?
Something wrong is with this board. Something is wrong.
Thank you. Our next speaker. Our next speaker is speaker 34.
I am a student, but you know me as, and I need you to listen to me. I am here today to talk about charters. To the blind eye, charters may seem better, but in reality, they're not. In order to make their schools better, charters bogusly put students through the disciplinary system and push them out. How do I know? It's happened to me. I was given 2 days of detention for walking past a fight. I wasn't watching. I wasn't fighting. I was trying to get around it. And what's disgusting is that I'm not the only student this is happening to. Can you really say you're for the students when you know that some charters expel up to 17 times more students than a Chicago public school, and they aren't being held accountable for it? The majority of the students being pushed out are the students that need the most help. Knowing this, you are allowing 49 public schools to be closed and more charters to be opened. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the secret in education lies in listening to the student. Are you listening to me now?
Ms. Barbara Bennett, I would suggest you pay attention so you don't miss out on anything. I am from Lincoln Park High School, and I am here to address the issues our schools are facing. I say ours because it's not just mine. You blame the schools for being underutilized, yet you make the case difficult to understand by combining two schools that already have problems to face. This will cause an increase in not only dropouts, but violence in our schools, all summing up to bad test scores. And this might just be your next excuse to attack our schools again. You are issuing major budget cuts to our schools, causing us students to have limited options in our schools. You are attacking every aspect of our public education and setting us up for failure. You have said, change the page, it's time to move on. Yet you have added to the stories with lies and grammatical errors. You have made promises that we clearly know you won't keep. And I just ask, what dagger will you use next on our already bleeding schools? And to Jesse Ruiz, wherever he is, I just want to let him know that he's an embarrassment to have on the board. But I guess money talks and dignity walks. Do you hear us now?
Our next speaker, please, speaker 14.
I'm a CPS student. You might know me as. I'd like to request some transparency from the board. I recognize two parts of transparency. The first just involves sharing information. This would be making public access to the board less difficult and releasing timely budgets. This would have meant giving schools some warning before demanding that they cut their budgets by millions in 16 days. Lincoln Park, my high school, is losing $921,000, and that translates into several staff members and some psychology classes that some of us were looking forward to. The second part of transparency is a bit more simple, but I imagine this board will find it just as unpalatable. The second part is telling the truth, or at least not telling atrocious and obvious lies. For example, I've heard Dr. Bennett blame the ridiculous budget cuts on the pension crisis in Springfield. The state almost entirely ignores CPS when appropriating education funding. However, should the state legislature pass pension reform, they would not save CPS's budget. 3 years ago, CPS asked Springfield for a pension holiday, requesting to pay a small fraction of what they had originally agreed to pay. Because the city has not since then raised property taxes and has continued to divert property taxes from schools into TIF districts, CPS had to ask again for a pension holiday, what you might call an artificially suppressing the problem. Anyway, because they were turned down, that is why you have this current crisis. It is you who is responsible for relying on a pension holiday and trying to spend
Mr.
that
Palish,
on Springfield.
Excuse me, can you please conclude?
Sure.
Thank you.
Would you listen to me now, please? Thank you.
Greetings all. Seen with the human eye are all of my physical characteristics that you can easily judge me by. But inside both my heart and my brain, I am a student. Or as you know me, 9 out of the 14 years of my life have been spent being a CPS student. That is approximately 64.28% of my life. Almost 65% of my life has been spent roaming hallways, eating horrible lunches, and downright trying to get the best education that I could and can in this messed up system. Not including the hours I spent on extracurricular activities and homework. So how do you, the Board of Education, dare ignore not only me, but all of the pleading children of CPS because you believe we're too young and inexperienced to possibly understand why you're closing down our schools and taking our money? Do you honestly deep inside believe that what you're doing is the right thing? I mean, come on, you couldn't and can't ever possibly know that. But we do, because we are the ones who have to wake up every day, go to school, and pay for your mistakes. And you know what? We have had it. As children, we're supposed to trust our adults to lead us in the right direction. We have lost trust in you. And you continue to close down our schools. You will have to live with the fact that you are the reason that children will increasingly fall to the horrors of gang violence. Because if you lose faith in a city, a school, a student, then they will lose faith in you. And what exactly are misguided students supposed to do? Are you listening to me now?
Our next speaker will be speaker number 5, please. Matthew Johnson, followed by speaker number 6, Catherine Schutt, followed by speaker number 7, Israel Munoz, and then speaker number 8, Catherine Marchese, and then speaker number 9, Alante Ward.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Vitelli, CEO Dr. Bobby Bird Bennett, and all other members of the board. My name is Matthew Johnson. I'm the local school council chairperson of the new school, Dewey School of Excellence. I first would like to thank Mr. Carlos Escortha and Mr. Phil Hampton for meeting with me regarding the budget concerns at Dewey School and the walkthrough of Marquette Elementary School. Members of the board, we as parents understand the financial crisis the district faces, but we're confident and we truly believe that there has to be other options to explore besides cutting the much needed funding from any school, as well as the low performing schools. Dewey's 2014 school budget is $1,500,000 compared to last year's $3 million budget. Sorry about that. Compared to Dewey's last year $3 million budget. Dewey may be faced with losing some of the technology teachers, computer teachers, art teachers, music teachers, gym teachers, nurses, counselors, and libraries. CEO, Mrs. Bobby Bird Bennett, you stated in a letter that was sent to Dewey parents, you're committed to ensuring every child receives a high-quality education. I believe you, and that's why I'm committed. I committed my time and my effort in my community to make sure there's a complete transition with the AUSL school at Dewey now. But Ms. Bennett, the turnaround of 5 schools was supposed to make them better, and I think it'd be shameful if Dewey wound up losing some of the positions that we had last year. And also, I also would like to share with you that the folders that I gave you all is another issue that I emailed you Monday, Ms. Bobby Bird Bennett, and I'm hoping that all board members get a copy of that email and think about a internal investigation in that matter that I sent you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Our next speaker, please, speaker number 6, Catherine Schutt.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Kate Schott Bolduc, and I serve on the local school council at Blaine Elementary. But I'm here this morning representing a coalition of nearly 70 LSCs. We come from all corners of the city, north, south, and west sides, and our mission is to ensure that all CPS schools receive funding that meets the needs of their students so that they may receive a quality education. This can only be achieved if education is a fiscal priority and our dialogue is honest and transparent. The current proposed budget cuts strip our schools of resources for a full school day, teaching positions that reduce class size, and essential programs like art, music, and foreign language. We simply cannot meet the basic educational needs of our students. This is unacceptable. In fact, one coalition member, a Southwest Side Elementary School, told me yesterday it cannot open its doors on August 26th. The school will not be in compliance with its contractual obligations, including its teacher's contract. Unfortunately, they are not alone. We have just 33 days left before our first day of school. We believe the best short-term solution is to ask the city to examine unencumbered TIF funds. This gives our students the resources they need while other long-term solutions are considered or settled. In fact, a recent report from Cook County Clerk David Orr specifically explains that the city has the funds to perform this stopgap measure. This isn't a new concept, so why are we so hesitant to use it for our children? But we regularly fund projects for corporations and private institutions.
Ms. Schutt, excuse me, can you please conclude?
Sure, I have about
Thank
10,
you.
10 seconds.
Thank you.
A local school council is representative of all stakeholders of a school. We are in a unique position to understand what it takes for students to thrive. We are elected officials. We have an obligation to approve a budget that is consistent with our continuous improvement work plan and our third-party contracts. And most importantly, we were elected to serve our students. Help us do our job. Ask the city to declare a TIF surplus. Our coalition is strong, and we will not waver in our goal to ensure all of our students throughout the city have the resources they need to receive the quality education they deserve. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Schott.
I am a student, and I need you to listen to me. I stand here today as a representative of something much bigger than myself. I am a student, and I am your priority, and I demand accountability. I ask you, have you executed your job the best that you could? Have you acted in order to create the high-quality, world-class education that you have promised us? Or have you pushed aside the needs of the students? Well, I must say that as the most influential, most effective, and most active member of the education system in Chicago, I can only see a group of appointed trustees that do not represent the interests of us, the students. I stand here, no longer pleading or begging for you to listen and respect me, but simply to tell you, Chicago students will hold you accountable for your actions. You have heard us speak now, and these are our demands. We would like monthly meetings between the students and the Board of Education so that we, the student body, can truly hold this board accountable. We demand an end to the unelected board. We want every member to issue a written statement declaring that they are in full support of a democratically elected Board of Education, and as a result, reject this unjust Board of Education. All future TIF funds should be allocated to Chicago
Mr.
public
Munoz.
schools,
Mr.
not new
Munoz.
stadiums. I'll finish right now.
Thank you.
Not new stadiums for private colleges or skyscrapers. You have heard our demands. Will you agree to them?
My name is Catherine Marchese. I am here today to speak on behalf of Belding Elementary School, which is located in Old Irving. My children love this school. They're A students, and they enjoy learning. And we could have enrolled them in a private school, but in their words, they wanted to stay in Belding because they love the teachers. My oldest went through a horrible year of being bullied. It was the school staff that helped to change the environment for the students this time, and Belding staff helped the students understand social and emotional issues and grow from them. Belding is a good neighborhood school, and I urge each one of you to familiarize with Belding by reading the letters that I have included in the handout. My primary concerns for Belding are the growing issues with overcrowding and current budget cut of $400,000. Belding is currently operating at 39% over capacity. I have included studies in the handouts that have proven overcrowding is detrimental on both children and teachers. And if the class sizes continue to increase, issues such as bullying might not be able to be addressed so efficiently as in the case of my daughter. I'm also very concerned that these budget cuts will take away from learning. Kids go to school to learn, to develop social skills, to discover aspects of themselves in a safe, nurturing environment. And how is this possible when classrooms are overcrowded due to loss of staff? It seems to me teachers might spend more time quieting children that do create disturbances. It seems to me the message you're sending is very clear: punish the group even though not all have misbehaved. So please help me understand something. You tell us by closing schools you'll reduce the $1 million deficit. You take out a bond for $233 million to pay for moving the kids, upgrading positions, schools, programs, etc. You have to pay back interest on the bond, which will cost us something like $25 million. So you make more cutbacks in schools to pay that interest.
Ms.
I
Marchese?
understand. I'm almost done.
Thank you.
I understand you don't want the schools to operate at a deficit, but how much is too much to cut from these schools, and when does it just become wrong? So I urge you to familiarize yourself with Belding Elementary. There's many children that excel within the classroom, and the parents know this is a great school. So please, consider not cutting $400,000 from the budget, and please look into the suggestions I have included, which are provided by Belding's principal in regard to ease the growing issue of overcrowding. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ms. Marchese.
Our next speaker, Mr. President, is speaker number 12, Ronald Jackson, please, followed by speaker 15, Maria Hernandez, speaker 18, Tracy Barrientos, speaker 21, Reina Martinez.
Good morning. I'm here today requesting an apology from Mr. Hampton, Ms. Chow, Ms. Hurley, Ms. Kirby, and Mr. Sweeney. as in April the 30th, I was arrested as a LSC, as in the capacity of LSC. Not too long ago, I received a letter from local school council stating in Illinois School Code -534-2.3, it said it's granted the LSC not the authority to inject themselves into matter dealing with issue between parents and school official or assist parents. Number two, I would like for the law department to request, where is the state that as an elected official, I need the authority of a Illinois school code to what I was elected to do to assist parents and community in any issue that anyone comes before us to address. So the reason I'm requesting an apology from each one of these individuals is that, number one, you send me a letter and try to insult my intelligence, that's stating that because you are a LSC official, you don't have the authority to assist parents. Even a alderman who are asked to come to a meeting with anyone, they're duty bound to assist those people in their community. As an elected official, I'm duty bound to assist anyone who requests my assistance. And for them to insinuate that because this is my brother that I helped, that's another insult to my intelligence. Anyone who knows me that I have went to Gage Park, I have went to Calvin Park, and if I could have, I would have went to King to deal with the issue of safety. So I am asking today, before this meeting is over with, that I request an apology from each one of these individuals. And as before, I did receive your letter to the law department stating that what I had requested from each individual, as well as the bar list, but they sent me a letter. And also during the meeting, I had requested that.
Mr. Jackson, excuse me. Can you please conclude?
Okay, I have requested that Officer Bailey be removed from the school, but yet Ms. Child said she doesn't have the authority, and the principal said that he's not going to do it. Number two, I had a principal to sign a complaint form against me. Officially, I did not engage in none of these acts.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Our next speaker, please.
So am I going to get this apology from these individuals who signed off on this document, that's stating that as a local school council, I'm not duty bound to assist anyone?
Thank you. Our next speaker, please. Speaker 15, Maria Hernandez. Last call for Maria Hernandez.